So let's. Do we want to make any changes to what we've been looking at here? I can say this actually. I feel like there's been a few instances where I felt like we were almost like we have the 4 spell snares, but we were definitely kind of lacking in early game removal, and that could just be because I'm used to playing 4 Path to Exile, 4 Lightning Bolt, 4 Lightning Helix, and 2 or 3 Electrolyze. So, I don't know.
Yeah, and again, it's really hard for me to evaluate White Sun Zenith because we just haven't gotten to that point. So, what would you cut to add removal?
I don't want to say think twice because I know that I know my buddy Scott would be like, no, think twice is really good, and this is why you want to run it. But
I feel like Esper Charm has been our thing twice.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I definitely think we've gotten more mileage out of Esper Charm than we've gotten out of Think Twice.
I genuinely think Esper Charm and Dig Through Time have been the most impressive cards outside of Cryptic Command. And, if we're fully on this, we don't want to play Mana Leak thing, then I think we need to be talking about Oust or Disfigure or some other, like, really low casting cost removal spell at instant speed. Well, Oust isn't instant speed, but something that kind of fills up our graveyard a little bit faster, allows us to survive the early game a little bit more, because I feel like that's where we're losing the game too often.
Right.
So that's just my thoughts.
I am fine for this last game. If we just want to cut, why not? I mean, we're just experimenting here. We can cut the 3 Think Twice and plug them up with like, there's more Disfigures. There's obviously Dismembers, a spell that we're not really running. I mean, maybe not what we really want to be casting early, but that's...
Yeah, I think I would rather have another Disfigure, honestly. I just... Things that have 5 toughness aren't really our problem.
True. Yeah, because by then we're casting some Supreme Verdicts.
So, I mean, maybe a Disfigure, and then maybe...
What was the other one, the one we were talking about earlier? It's 2 mana.
Smother?
There's Smother.
There's also Sun Lance, if you're looking for 1 mana. I don't think that's an instant. That's a sorcery.
Isn't that like a weird white burn spell?
It is. Yeah, it's very weird.
I have it. Okay. Oh,
it's
yeah,
very
that was
weird.
that time shifted or... We'll tell you what. Let's see. Why do we have 15? Okay, here's what I'm going to propose.
Adding some Disfigures?
Yeah. Or... What do we have in there now? Am I looking at it right? Yeah. I was going to say, let's just dump a couple of Disfigures in there and see what happens.
I actually really like that.
And I'm going into the... I gotta trade really quick here.
Yeah, so I only have Phantom tickets in my account right now.
Ooh.
And I have, I don't know, maybe $500-$600 worth of paper standard cards that I need to sell online to get into ticks. And I'm really not looking forward to just making that transition, like putting them on eBay, selling them. There's just not an easy, clean way to go about it.
Your standard paper cards?
Yeah.
To get ticks?
Yeah.
Oh, man, just... No. Like, you want to use MTGO Traders. Cape Fear Games is their paper store, and they will take paper cards. It's probably a buy list price, but I think to give you a 20 or 30% credit on top of that, and then you can get tickets in exchange.
Yeah, I'll have to do the math on that. Because I've landed on the standard... Like, my general rule is play standard deck and then put all your credit towards eternal playable cards. But I'm kind of set, my 2 legacy decks, and it's kind of just like, well, I don't have any more to buy.
You have 2 legacy decks?
Yeah, I have Esper Stoneblade and I have Maverick.
Curtis.
Or Esper Deathblade, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, for about 2 years, I took any winnings that I had and I put it towards legacy cards. And I played Cobblade in an environment where no one else was, and so I'm not kidding. Like my standard record, like I lost 2 matches in like 3 months or something absurd. And that was just a function of not me being good. I was the only one that had the broken deck.
So check this out really quick. We still have this 1 Think Twice in here. My thoughts are that it could be a 3rd Remand.
Yes.
Could be a 3rd thing. It could be Think Twice. It could even be a Shadow of Doubt.
Remand.
Remand? Okay.
To me, that's a snap, because there's been too many instances where I just want another hard counter.
Remand's been good, actually.
Yeah. So my blue-white Restoration Angel deck that I was playing, the Blade deck, played 4 Mana Leak and 2 Remand. and that was pretty hot.
Yeah, I've actually done that split myself. I've even done the split decision where I can't decide, and I've done 3 and 3.
Yeah.
So, Mana Leak's a funny thing though, because if you want it early, so then you probably want to run more of them. But okay, so you want to try this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so let's check out the play lobby here. All right. Hopefully this won't take very long. I do miss the other recording software where I could like, oh wait, leave event. I want to restart Moto really quick.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Because it was running like a dog there.
Hey, I'm gonna run upstairs real quick, and I will be right back.
Sure, no problem. Sorry guys, it looks like Moto did not come back up on the screen as it was supposed to, so bear with me just a moment here. I'm assuming all this is coming through. All right, there's a modern game up. Curtis isn't back, but in the interest of time, we'll just go ahead and jump in this queue. We will play first. Dang, that hand is really bad. So let's mulligan. Here, I was about to mulligan. This hand's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. Dude, you should not start games while I'm away, because every time I just come in, we're mulliganing.
I know. I'm like, hey, welcome back. We're mulliganing a really bad hand. Okay, so we're gonna mulligan a 6.
Way better.
Yeah. Like we actually have the mana to cast everything we have. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna keep.
This means we're gonna get Molten Rains like several times.
Yeah. Colonnade, go. So we're either gonna be playing Delver or Burns, one of the two.
That was my big frustration whenever I had Maverick on Magic Online. This is, it's been a while ago now, but I played against Burn all the time. It was just, you ran into it so often whenever you'd be in Legacy 2-man queues.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons I think that they do it, one, it's an inexpensive deck. So I think that, here, I'm pausing for 1 second because I just realized I got to bring these like little chat windows and various things where I want them to be. One, it's an inexpensive deck, and two, a lot of people just necessarily aren't. I mean, now I think it's different, but a lot of people just are like, well, I don't really have a good plan against Burn, except to hope I don't play against Burn because I don't like Burn. And so I think in the past it was definitely like a deck that you could invest into for not a lot of money, master it, and then probably do a reasonably good job grinding ticks. It's definitely like a good ticket grinding deck. It doesn't take near as much brain power, shall we say, as like plain Esper. So Burn players probably disagree, but
I remember when Valak, it was a big thing. You would just hear people talk about grinding ticks on that because you could just basically everything that was not Cobblade you would just roll over, because that deck was so overpowering.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't play during those days, but sometimes when I look back at the lists, I'm like, really? This is our life. This is it.
The Valakut decks, Valakut, Cobblade, and Splinter Twin were in Standard all at the same time, and I think I sometimes think that Cobblade gets an unfair rap for how much pressure put on the metagame because Valakut destroyed every creature deck. You would be a fool to not play counter spells if you knew you were going to play against Valakut all the time because you couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, like I said, I look back and I'm like, so they had Lightning Bolt, they had Stoneforge Mystic, they had Jace the Mind Sculptor, they had Scape Shift, they had Swords, they had, well, I guess maybe Swords came later. No,
Yeah, there were
Yeah,
swords.
no
There
swords.
wasn't scape shift. It was just straight up Valakut, like with Prime
Right.
Titan.
But still, like, oh, and Titans, I was like, gosh, like, that's, like, the most powerful, like, standard that I can think of.
Yeah.
So we have a dig through time on top. I'm going to guess that we can probably just get a swamp with this polluted delta and disfigure that goblin guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We're going to need it for Esper Charm anyway.
Does he play 2 more Goblin Guides? That's the real question.
Gross. Do we disfigure in response to this?
So I would disfigure in response because it doesn't have haste. And then, hope we can Esper Charm it away. Because we do have the other removal spell in hand, right?
There's a path.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we just play our Colonnade and path it. Doesn't really matter when.
Yeah, I think we actually probably just see if he plays another Goblin Guide. Because, or a Monastery Swift Spear. Because then we can get more value out of pathing that thing. So just wait for him to go to attacks and then path it.
Yeah, and actually, if he does play a spell with Eidolon out, obviously it hurts him too.
Mm. Okay, so you want to path this?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think what we'll end up taking a total of 4 off of. Well, actually, we'll take 6 off Eidolon if he attacks with Eidolon, which I imagine he will. But I think we need to path Hellspark, otherwise he ends up getting in for 6.
It represents more damage, yeah.
And we will be able, he's going to attack with Eidolon. We're going to take 2 from path, 2 from the Eidolon attack, and then 2 when we get rid of Eidolon with Esper Charm. So it's pretty gross.
It was gross as soon as it resolved, though, right? So
yeah.
The other option would be to path the Eidolon, take 3, and then we would take another 3 whenever he unearths it because we don't have an answer.
So I'm just going to path the Hellspark.
Yeah.
And then we'll untap and... Well, we may not necessarily untap and do Esper Charm on our turn, but we'll untap and plan to be Esper Charming the Eidolon.
Right.
Man. So much...
Again, it's the fun police.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'd rather just disfigure it.
Yeah. Yeah, do it.
But, I mean, we'll wait until his turn, till we need to use it.
Let's see what threats are presented again.
Yeah. I was going to say... Yeah, I would have been great if we could have played in a daily event. Obviously, that's a long one. I mean, it is 4 rounds of Swiss, so that's why I don't usually play them. I would love to play more daily events, but I'm married, I have a kid. Sometimes it's kind of hard, to go to F&M and play in paper and set aside a bunch of time to play in a daily event. But I think we'd also had the chance to play against more things like Pod or Scape Shift and stuff like that.
They really, really, really need to set up constructed leagues. I don't, not to go on this tangent. Yeah, it needs to happen soon because, playing in the gold queues, while it's fine, you kind of lose that. I don't know. It feels like there's not a good in between on the gold queues and the tournament practice. Yeah.
So you were saying the gold leagues?
The gold queues. I want something that's between the gold queues and the tournament practice room because I feel like sometimes the tournament practice room you just run into the weirdest stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean tournament practices. I'll use that. I feel like that's kind of the closest I get to solitaire in my deck on Magic Online. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll play them, but when I'm really kind of ready to test, I normally go to the 2-mans. But then sometimes I feel now lately in the 2-mans, as you can see, you're basically just going to play against Delver and Burn. So we're passing the turn back. We have 4 lands in play.
I think we have to use Esper Charm to draw. Unless he really... Yeah.
All right. Can we... We can dig.
Yeah, then do that. Because there is a scenario in which, we use Esper Charm to make him discard things, right? It's a pretty outside shot at this point, but... Now, with the way we've been running tonight, he's going to have 4 lightning bolts.
Do we just keep 2 cryptics?
Yeah.
You think, or do we?
Yeah.
Well, there's also there was also a spell snare. So if we take a cryptic, probably 2 cryptics, I guess.
Yeah, he hasn't shown any blue, right? So I would rather just have the hard counters.
Yeah.
And they provide a nice little bit of velocity for us.
Yeah, they replace themselves, which is that's why you play that spell. Man, I was almost about to I was gonna say, I also play EDH, but then I was like, oh, I better stop. I don't want to tell Curtis that I play EDH. Okay, so I'm assuming, he can, even if we counter this, he can unearth it.
Right. So what you could do is wait till he goes to beginning of combat and no, tap it and draw, because it has to be sacrificed at the end of the turn.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. No,
that's effectively countering the damage. Right?
He's down to 2 cards, man. Do we want to Esper Charm him?
Okay, so I'd have to read how Unearth goes again, but we probably it gains haste, exile at the beginning of the next sentence. So we'll probably
just
have to do
same thing.
Yeah, the exact same thing. So I would play the Colonnade tapped,
Fair enough.
And then go from there. So I really don't think he has anything. Or at least I would be surprised if he does.
That's not Unearth. That's just a new one.
Yeah, well, that's good for us. So let's have him unearth the other one. Come on, buddy. Do it.
He didn't. He did not.
So, yeah, you have to do the whole tap down thing again.
Okay. Hold on. I'm going to back. I want to make sure that I selected the right mode. I think I did. Tap and draw. So if a Snapcaster Mage wouldn't be bad, because then if he unearths both of those Hellspark Elementals next turn, we can do the same thing.
Right.
Supreme Verdict not as good against haste creatures. Okay, so we potentially taking 6 next turn.
Yeah, we need to Esper Charm, draw, use the draw mode, and then hope we hit something that can remove.
Like a removal spell.
Yeah. This is that one moment where you're like, man, I wish I had Quicken in this deck.
It's funny. I was like, I almost said, can we play Quicken in Modern? I was like, probably not. Maybe we could. I don't know. But so much of the stuff in the deck is at instant speed. But,
yeah.
But on some level, though, it's kind of like the one of Shadow of Doubt. You might just end up cycling it a lot anyway.
Mm-hmm. I think if you play a deck that's a lot more, there's what? I don't know how many sorceries you'd have to play for that to be good value.
He's unearthing.
Let him unearth one more here. Or he might not, actually. He might just wait to see what we do.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does. We'll see. So we're gonna have to use our one swamp. So if we draw a Smother, that'll be sad. He didn't, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make a blue-white, activated with blue, play a black, and draw 2 cards.
Interesting.
No dice there. So we're gonna. He's got 3 cards. We're gonna go to 5. I mean, we do have Remand, and actually we have Spell Snare and Remand up, so maybe we'll. I don't think there's. I don't know if there's a.
We really should not remand that. So
yeah, I don't think there's a reason. But he's thinking. He's thinking really hard.
or lightning.
Or that. Wait, burn players don't think. What am I saying? I'm kidding.
Shard volley.
I mean, we have to remand it.
Yeah.
And then we'll die. Because we're dead anyway. It's going to be really funny, though, if he just lets it get remanded and then passes the turn. I mean, maybe not, because it's an instant. It's just casting our upkeep in the same scenario, but he doesn't know that. The burn player has used more time than we have, so we're winning there.
That's alarming. Maybe he's been playing the 2-man queues for a while, and his, he's using up 1.8 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, he's at 2 now. There's a Sphinx's Revelation. Probably too late.
Yeah.
All right, so we're dead. So we wanted the Timelies.
So, yeah, you're gonna play Knight of Souls Betrayal too, because he's playing the.
Yeah, but it doesn't kill Goblin Guide, but it does make those Unearthed guys.
Yeah, you want to actually get rid of some number of Sphinxes, Supreme Verdicts, because they're just wretched against that card.
They really are. They're terrible. Actually, the only creature he has that they're decent against is Eidolon.
I would actually bring an Utter End here.
Oh, wait, we have Celestial Purge. Celestial Purge is reasonable. All his permanents are red.
Yeah. And then I would bring in the Utter End because you can kill an Eidolon if you need to late in the game and not take any punishment from it. And that also hits an Hellspark Elemental.
You know what? Give me 1 second. I have a door open, and I'm actually getting attacked by mosquitoes in my house. So hold on.
Sounds rough.
Okay, so we got 1:34 left on this sideboard clock here. We have our. Are you sure about those Knight of Soul Betrayal?
Yeah, actually, I'm thinking about this again.
They don't
I'm
kill
thinking,
Eidolon. They don't kill Goblin Guide.
Yeah, get rid of them. I still like the Utter End very much.
I think the Utter End is fine. I think we probably maybe a Dig Through Time.
Yeah.
And I mean, Remand's actually pretty bad
Against him, yeah.
Like, all of his stuff costs 1.
Well, we would always rather have the Purge, right? Not always, but generally speaking.
Yeah, I mean, do we want Dig Through Time instead of this Remand?
No, I like this like this.
Okay, all right, let's run it. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's money.
Keep. Lead with the
Watery Grave or Hallowed Fountain, either one's fine.
That's what I was thinking. Man, there are literally like more than there are several mosquitoes and attacking me. It's kind of annoying.
Goblin Guide.
Of course.
Every time.
I swear. Why every game, every single game we have to deal with this Goblin Guide situation.
You're making me just want to play Maverick in Modern. Punish these people for their hubris. Okay, well.
So I guess we'll just play the Hallowed Fountain.
Yeah.
There's not a reason not to.
Come on, Eidolon.
I mean, we're going to take all kinds of damage from this Goblin Guide, but... Oh, man. What is he doing? Okay,
there we go.
I'm supposed to know that.
And then we'll turn around in timely reinforcements, just like we drew it up.
What did he reveal? Let's expel snare. How? Oh, okay, yeah, no. All right, so yeah, we'll just timely.
Slam it. This is ideal.
Boom, 22 with 3 dudes. Like it.
This is where he goes. Fetch land island treasure cruise, right?
So chump one, block the other one.
I throw all 3 on 1.
White Sun Zenith.
So you throw all 3 on 1 and take the 2. That's what I would do.
Okay, just to make
that
sure
way,
we get it off the board. Yeah, that seems reasonable.
And now we can actually utter in something, which will feel good.
Yeah, actually, we can even utter in Goblin Guide.
Which is something we really needed to do this entire playtest session.
I mean, I see no reason not to utter end it.
Yeah.
And let's see. I guess we can just we could get another plains. Yeah, we have double blue.
I actually like getting an island here.
Well, we have the White Suns in our hand.
I mean, there is a chance that he just slams a Blood Moon right now, right?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so we'll get an island. I mean, by the time we're probably ready to cast that White Sun Zenith, we're at 19. We'll probably have drawn into another land. So let's let his trigger resolve. What we should have done was let the trigger resolve and then fetch, but we were just talking.
What is it?
It looks like an Esper.
Is it Esper Charm?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would actually chump. I don't know. I'm very concerned with the way this could roll out here, and then we can utter end it at the end of turn if we need to.
All right, let's chump. What we're doing is we're playing around Blood
Moon. We're playing around Blood Moon, and our soldier isn't going to do a thing actually.
Right. So if he goes and windmill slams Blood Moon now, then which he didn't. Then actually, so now we have Esper Charm also for a potential Blood Moon.
Yeah, I would have utter ended the Goblin Guided Instep though.
Oh, I see what you were saying.
But that's okay. We can.
Yeah, that would have been a more efficient use.
Okay, so
what do we do with this guy?
So I would actually utter end him.
The Hellspark Elemental?
Yeah, because you're saving yourself more damage that way. And Goblin Guide does, in theory, draw you cards that you might need, right?
Yeah.
The quote downside.
Snapcaster Mages on top.
That's sweet. So, yeah, go ahead and utter in the Elemental. He loses value that way.
Yeah, he cannot cast a Blood Moon right now anyway. So, just passing here.
Yeah, man, it would really be nice to draw another land.
It's in our graveyard. I mean, gosh, yeah. If we had another land, we can Snapcaster Mage timely. Well, we wouldn't get our guys with this.
I mean, something is in his hand, right? Just the way he's operating and playing is very weird.
And here's a question: Do we ambush Viper?
So what did it reveal?
Hold on, let's see. It reveals a. Getting my windows confused here. Looks like a path to exile.
So what we want to do is ambush Viper, right? And then if he resolves a Blood Moon, actually no, I think we let it hit and then just be content to path it. I really, really don't want to get hit by Blood Moon here. And if we have to path our own Snapcaster Mage at some point, we can. I know this is a lot of damage, but...
I'm trying to think. Okay, yeah. We'll just draw the path.
Yeah. So now you can path it, and then we can Esper Charm something if we need to.
Flames. Yeah, we have to let that resolve. You don't have a counter for it or a remand or anything.
Right.
That's the other Skullcrack.
Ah.
That's the one I was telling you about. So.
Is that Betrayers?
That might be the little... I can't remember. Did he just forget to attack?
Yeah. I still would path. I would still path
it. Go ahead and path it now?
Yeah. And then
Esper Charm? Well, no.
Yeah.
We probably want to save that Esper Charm in case there is a Blood Moon, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really up to you at this point. How close are we to digging through time?
We can dig now, right? Wait, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we can dig.
Yeah, I would dig then.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, that's all fine and dandy.
Rev.
So we need... Well, we can also... Oh, no, we just threw away our timely, didn't we? So we got to get a Rev. For sure. I think we're getting a Rev and a Hallowed Fountain, is that right? Or do you want to get double Rev?
No, I mean, right now we're revving for X1.
Yeah.
So I guess we get a Flooded Strand, and I think we just get a Flooded Strand, get our third white source so we have it for White Sun Zenith, and cast a Revelation.
Sure.
It's still not great because that's going to put us at 7, and he has 3 cards in hand. We do have a Disfigure. The problem is we don't have like a Cryptic.
Yeah, which is really what we need. So I think we still have to hold up everything at the moment.
I mean, if he plays a guy, we have Disfigure to keep it from getting damage in. I mean, the other option here is we Esper Charm him and make him discard 2.
You want to do that right now? I mean, go for it. Then we can still... I mean, the important thing is that we still have Spell Snare up in case. So...
I guess. Are you fine with that?
Yeah, go for it.
Unfortunately, we only have 1 black source that we can get without taking a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But... sure.
Well, that means one of the cards was a Lightning Bolt.
He paid 2 for something. He looked like he was about to.
So, yeah, snare that.
Gosh, he can unearth it this turn.
Well, I mean, we don't really have another option besides to Spell Snare it. He's got Trample.
Yeah. That's gross.
So it's Unearth Bolt is what's going to happen to us.
This is really gross. I mean, we're going to either take 3 from it, or we could just take 3 and disfigure it.
No, I still don't like that. I mean, because it's going to die at the end of turn anyway, because he unearthed it. So...
True. If he doesn't kill us, I think we fetch because we're dead. Well, we're dead.
Yeah, he had to... one of the cards had to be Lightning Bolt, because why else would he have discarded a Lightning Bolt, you know? So, Yay, we tested against Burn a lot.
Lesson learned. Burn is really good against Esper Control.
Yeah, you probably should just main deck 4 timely reinforcements next time.
I mean, we played 3 matches. 2 were against Burn. You know, I'm kind of curious to see, like, if we went back, you know, did we make any critical mistakes?
Well, I think the one match we would have won if we weren't talking so much, you know. We kind of lost track of time and ended up punting the match as a result. That's
true. There also was the I don't know how much this would have played in, but there was the should have utter ended the. Well, we said we should have utter ended the Goblin Guide, but then he did just play a Hellspark Fundamental, which arguably the utter end was probably a better target for.
Right.
Because if we had utter ended the Goblin Guide, he would have untapped, played Hellspark, we would have taken 3, and instead we just took 2, and we didn't take repeated damage from Hellspark Elemental. So it may turn out that little mistake was
costly or not. I don't know. I'd have to see how the numbers broke down, right?
You know, Supreme Verdict is not as good as I thought it would be. That's one thing I can say.
Well, it's not good against Burn.
Well, not just that. Well, not just that, but I feel like it sort of falls victim to this. So the same thing that Volcanic Fallout does, which they both effectively achieve the same thing against Blue Red Delver. The problem is Blue Red Delver just plays Gitaxian Probe, and they're like, oh, well, I'm not walking into that.
Right.
And then they make you Verdict their one guy, right? And then you don't get that virtual card advantage out of it.
Yeah, and it's also the problem with having a deck that is almost entirely built around instants, and then there's like one key sorcery that's like randomly in the middle of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It really can throw off your own tempo, right?
It's true. Which is supposed to be offset because they're not supposed to know about it, and you're supposed to kill 2 or 3 of their things with it, and it's okay. But I feel like, Gitaxian Probe really, the fact that they can see it, you know, and in Geist, I run Volcanic Fallout, and in fact, in Blue White Red Kiki, instead of running 2 main deck Anger of the Gods, I'm running 2 main deck Volcanic Fallout just because of the meta, and plus it doesn't kill Wall of Omens and it doesn't kill Restoration Angel. But invariably, what's happened is kind of like what happened in that one match with Delver. They get Gitaxian Probe when they see it, and then they just completely alter their playstyle.
Right.
So
and the one guy, he didn't alter.
Yeah, he was like, I got 2 Delvers, bro. Beat this.
Yeah. And he turned the game into an elaborate coin flip in which he won. So, well, it's interesting. I'll have to see what changes I want to make, and I still think I'll play either Esper or just straight blue-white. I think against that style of deck, just the straight blue-white Restoration Angel version is kind of a house, right? It really beats up on that particular brand of Burn, just because they have a real tough time doing anything about a Restoration Angel. It's a very difficult card for them to answer. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with the build that I go forward playing. I mean, what changes would you make? Play red and play Geist, is that it?
You know, I honestly think that I'm... yeah. I play Esper Geist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as much as I think as much as I want to say that Think Twice is not a bad card, I think here's what my gut is. Think Twice is fine in the past meta. When there was more grindier decks, more attrition-based decks, I think you probably were able to get more mileage out of Think Twice. But as it stands now, like between things like Burn and Delver, like things are happening that are so important on the first couple of turns. Like you just don't have the time to get the value out of Think Twice. Like Esper Charm is different. Esper Charm is okay because it's 1 shot, 3 mana, draw your 2 cards. You got the 1 card out, the 2 cards in, and you're good. But you know, Think Twice. It's just in this case, like I think we'd rather just have the disfigures given the meta.
Yeah, for sure. And I honestly think we would have been better off if we would have drawn those disfigures more often. But you know, in 3 games, we can only get so much information.
True.
But yeah, it's definitely been interesting, man, for sure. I really appreciate you having me on. I'm getting ready to jet here, but dude, this is like kind of scratched the itch of playing a constructed Moto queue for me. I haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed having you on, and I'm sure that the that my viewers will have enjoyed it as well, and hopefully they're going to follow my advice and go check out the SpikeFeed podcast, because like I said earlier, it's definitely worth your time. They do a good job.
We definitely try hard. I don't know how good it is, but yeah, definitely check us out at spikefeed.com. It's a quick show. We're one of the quicker Magic podcasts, which gets pointed out to us all the time. We're about 40 minutes long an episode. Yeah, that's the feedback we constantly get is, how come you're not longer? And you know, I love making people want more, I guess, but you know, to me, you know, I have a broadcasting background. To me, 40 minutes is a long time. That's a long time to be on the air doing something. But in the world of podcasts, that's nothing, you know? So,
you know, it's funny. I was just, when you had walked off, I was just telling everyone how I liked the fact that it was like a short, concise show. And I had like this nice, like Monday almost tradition now, where I take the bus in the morning and I listen to the Spike Feed. And then I get through my work day, and then I go to Monday Night Modern at my local store. And, you know, I like that I can, you know, take in the whole podcast in one shot. You know, some of the longer ones, I feel like sometimes I have to work on them. Like, I listen to them partly here. Maybe it's just me, like, wanting to complete things, but I'm like, all right, I have completed this episode of the Spike Feed, and the other ones take me a lot more time.
A true story about our show. So, obviously, we can see the analytics, like, through Google or whatever. And the second most searched thing with our show is, or that with people that access our website, is workout routines. And so we envision ourselves as the show that is really great to go on a jog to, right? We're the most health conscious Magic podcast. That's what it is.
It's true. I mean, you seem like a very physically fit guy, and you know, as you said before, you have dreamy blue eyes, and I'm not exactly sure how that fits in, but I'm sure that it does.
Yeah, I'm actually Cameron. In addition to being, Cameron's one of my co-hosts. In addition to be like the most unbelievable audio producer, he is in great shape. Like, he works out all the time. He's an Adonis. He's like a young Daniel Craig. It's really problematic.
That's funny. I've heard you say that.
When we're in public, you know, he used to work at a coffee shop, and he would just get absurd tips from these soccer moms.
Wow.
Like, it was like a problem. So,
the things you learn.
The things you learn. Anyway, Dustin just looks like Rob Blagojevich. That's all he's got going.
Well, again, man, thanks for coming. I enjoyed having you. This was a lot of fun. I wish we could have won more of the games, but, I mean, you know, there's something to be said about testing, you know, against maybe some of your more difficult matchups. So. Yeah,
for sure, man. Well, I really appreciate, you know, you having me on. I love watching your channel. So true story, you are the first channel I've ever subscribed to.
Oh, man. So, that means a lot. Thank you.
You might be the only one I ever subscribed to. That's how much you mean to me.
I really appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, we're going to let Curtis go here. As always, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for commenting. I appreciate all of the feedback. I appreciate the critiques. You know, like I said, don't be afraid to say, hey, I think you could have done this different. Because when you do that, it starts good discussions, and everybody that visits the channel has a chance to learn something more about how to play better Magic the Gathering. So with that, again, thank you very much, and I appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.